We're grateful to be with you tonight. It is already Tuesday morning, but here we've got a late night, midnight special, and we just got in from South Dakota about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and we're not going to be on here long tonight. We're going to do the bulk of this tomorrow night. We've got a very special guest coming tomorrow night. A couple of special guests, actually. Dr. Stephen Smith, as of now, will be with us at 8, but Michael Jaffe will be coming to us live from Jerusalem tomorrow night. It'll be almost 6 o'clock in the morning his time the next morning, and but we're going to have another late show tomorrow night at 11, and what we don't pick up and talk about all here tonight, after we interview Michael, we're going to get on with that tomorrow night too. Join us on the radio program later this afternoon from 2 o'clock to 3. And so forth. I didn't want to come on, even if it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We're going to get your thoughts about several breaking news stories tonight. The biggest is the Canada situation. And I've got a few thoughts about that. And so forth. And I'm saying this very gingerly tonight. I am not saying what I'm saying to ruffle feathers or cause our Canadian folks to think we don't love you, because we do love you. But what I'm about to say is going to be said out of love. The Liberal Party tonight, Mark Carney, won this election in Canada, which Carney is nothing but Trudeau light. Pierre Poilievre had a 30-point lead on him, 30, just 6 weeks ago. And he loses this election tonight. And I'm watching the post, and people are blaming Trump tonight. There have been some that have even blamed Trump supporters, and they said, we'll never forgive Trump supporters for what's happened to Canada. I want to just say a few things tonight, and I don't mean this to sound catty, and I'm not saying this is ugly, but there are some things we need to come to grips with in Canada tonight, and we love you folks. We do. We love all of you. We didn't vote in your election tonight. You did. You did. We didn't pull that lever for Carney. You did. You're blaming our nation for your election. We didn't do it. And then I hear, well, Trump was mean, and Trump said bad things about Canada. Well, Canada said a lot of bad things about Trump. Canada their leaders have said a lot of bad things about Americans. Justin Trudeau hated America. Him and Biden only got along because they both were woke and couldn't tell which bathroom to use, either one of them. And that's why you got Carney to begin with. The Canadian people voted him out, got him out. He resigned in disgrace. This should have been a walk in the park for Pierre Poilievre. But what did Pierre Poilievre do? Instead of Pierre Poilievre standing up for what was right, he started trashing Trump. He trashed America. Stay out of our elections, Mr. Trump. I tried to tell folks on this show over and over and over that when Trump was calling you the 51st state, a lot of that was hyperbole. A lot of that was, I don't really think he ever meant it. But you've got such a sensitive, weak population that if Trump says the sky is blue, then half the freaking country will get offended at that. If he said my shirt is red, if we the people sweatshirt is red, half the people will get offended at that and get their little feelings on their shoulders, sit on their butts and not vote. We didn't vote in your election. And again, I'm not trying to sound mean tonight, folks, but it really irritates me, the attitude tonight that Trump's getting blamed for a man that had a 30-point lead lose the election. Trump didn't attack Pierre. To my knowledge, I've not seen anything that Trump ever said about him personally. But Pierre took it upon himself to tell Trump to stay out of his election. Guess what? Trump did. And then I hear the tariff thing, which is the most jokeable, laughable, absolutely insane, idiotic thing in the world. That we're blaming the tariff situation on your loss tonight. I'm talking to the conservatives in Canada. Can I just remind you of the improper trade balance that Trump inherited. All he was trying to do was level the playing field. And Canada didn't want to play ball, except for that mayor up in Ontario, Ford. And look, again, we here in America, we have our interest, you have your interest. There's nothing wrong with that. If Canada wanted to stick their flag in the ground and dig a hole and say, well, we're not going to give in to Trump's pressure on the tariffs, well, don't give in to it. So be it. But don't blame the tariff war on you not voting for your conservative candidate. And then I'm seeing the QAnons and all the left-wing, not left-wing, but the right-wing nuts claim it was stolen again. Well, who knows? I don't know. Perhaps it was. That's another discussion for another time. I don't know the voter turnout. I have no idea who voted, who didn't, because I didn't vote tonight in Canada's election. We prayed for you guys. I was asked by a supporter of the show, and I hope they're a supporter after this, because I mean, you know, I know that this is going to sort of bite a little bit, and I'm not meaning it to bite, but I'm trying to bring some common sense. And I'm sort of getting sick of America getting blamed for all the world's issues and all the world's problems. We're getting blamed for Mexico's problems tonight. We're getting blamed for Europe's problems. We always get blamed for everything. Trump gets blamed, again, if he wakes up in the morning and somebody has taken a pee on the White House front lawn, that's Trump's fault. We didn't vote in your elections tonight. You did. And Trump didn't attack Pierre Poilievre. He didn't attack Canada. And I keep seeing this stuff with Trump. He's just so mean to us. How was he mean to you? Please explain to me why trying to even a trade balance up with Canada is why your grocery bill, you can't even afford a carton of eggs and a gallon of milk up there. To my recollection, you're not the 51st state. No, that's your government making those policies. We don't make policy for Canada. Now, I know some of you don't like that, and I know some of you just are gritting it a bit and flipping the channel off, and that's all right. We love you. But stop throwing it on us tonight. This ain't America's fault. We got Australia coming up here in a week or two. I talked to Cleo tonight, and the same thing's happening right now. The conservative movement in Australia is backing up, and they're saying, well, we're not sure if Trump's is doing as good a job as we think he should do, and they're trashing Trump, and you're going to wind up with another Albanese, who was nothing but a jackanapes. By the way, you know what Mark Carney went out and said tonight? He's basically telling you Canadians, your free speech is about to be cut off. You're going to be more, I tell you what, the price of your groceries, you think that's a problem tonight? Well, wait till you can't even say what you want to say about the government without getting your backsides thrown in jail, just like England. Just like England. Last time I checked, America didn't vote in England's elections. Trump's getting blamed for that. Folks, I'm not here to extol the perfection or the imperfections of Donald Trump. President Trump is my president. I'm proud of the job he's doing. I don't agree with every decision he makes. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with every tweet he tweets out. For the most part, these tweets have never bothered me because Chris is an adult. Chris doesn't have a sensitive meter about this thick or this thin that I get offended at every little thing. I've been doing this show for 7.5 years. And if Chris had thin skin, as I'm accused of having sometimes, I'd have been long gone. Just because Chris runs a tight ship and he doesn't let nonsense and plain out dumb blank stuff in his chat room, Chris is accused of being a tyrant and mean. And Chris is accused of being a lot of things. But no, Chris ain't thin-skinned. And Chris don't mind you disagreeing with him. If you do it right, you can disagree with me all you want to. You're not going to argue with me in my chat room. You're going to send me an email at McFilesforum@gmail.com. Because we're not going to tolerate a bunch of circus and free-for-all. That's just the way the Mac Files have been ran for 7.5 years, and I think we've maintained a pretty good audience, so most people enjoy a peaceful environment free of stupidity. But this, when I started reading some of this stuff tonight after what happened, and look, folks, I'm not trying to tell you Canadians I'm happy that this happened. I'm not. I'm sad. I'm sad for you. I'm on your side. But don't blame the American people, and don't blame Trump supporters, and don't blame President Trump for your nation's vote. Because to the last of my knowledge, unless y'all are letting illegals across your border, which what Trudeau was doing just that. And these illegals would have been Americans, because you can't go to Canada without a passport. We wasn't the one voting tonight. I don't know why Pierre Poilievre lost. I'm not going to lay it all at the foot of his trashing Trump, but it didn't help. And you know something? I've read some tweets tonight. You got what you deserved. People always usually get the leaders that they ultimately want. Now, I'm not saying this again in a mean-spirited, come down on Canada way. My heart breaks for you, because what you're about to experience is what you're headed for. England is what you're headed for. You can't even walk down the street and say something about the government in just a general negative way without a police officer walking up to you and visiting your house right now. You got almost 18 mayors across England of cities in England Muslim tonight, trying to turn England into a Muslim hellhole, a Sharia law hellhole. Carney as good as said that's what's coming to Canada. So I don't know what happened tonight. I'm just a common sense South Georgianer. You have a 30-point lead with 6 weeks to go. That's an election you should win. I'm sorry your gas prices are high. I'm sorry your grocery prices are high. I'm sorry your cost of living's high. I'm sorry things ain't strangle-ar in Canada. President Trump is not your president. He's our president. No, your leaders did that. Not Trump. Not Trump. Now, you don't have to like that tonight, and you can get all bent out of shape. And again, I'm saying this, folks, in love. I know it sounds like I'm catty, okay? It sounds like I'm a little catty, but there's just some things that sort of turn my button, and I'm just thinking, I'm just folding my arms tonight, reading these comments, and I'm like, are you joking me? We're the reason, Trump's the reason that Pierre Poilievre lost? I mean, seriously? Really? Really? What did he just say? What did he just say?
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Again, I know it's a late night. Hey, it's midnight. I've been on the road for 16 hours. Cut me a little slack tonight. McDonald's a little wired up. I mean, that 16-hour trip, I should have taken the starch out of me. I'm wide awake tonight. But I'm tired I'm tired for the American public. I'm tired for America being blamed for the world's problems. The world needs to start taking some responsibility for each and every nation. That's part of the reason Trump is hated by the world. That's why he is hated by the elites and the globalists. He's hated because he don't want America being everybody's policeman, but he's not going to be pushed around, and we're not going to be pushed around by trade. We're not going to be pushed around by illegal immigration no more and mass migration. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. Again, that is our nation's business. But again, I want to say it again, very calmly and very nicely. Very nicely. I didn't even bring the bear hat out tonight. I didn't even bring the cowboy hat tonight. I brought We the People hat out tonight, just so I could be nice tonight. We didn't vote in your elections. And if you think that Trump calling Canada the 51st state caused people not to go to the polls, please spare me that. Please spare me that. Are you? Please don't tell me that that's a serious thought going through your head, that the terrible things Trump said about Canada is why people didn't go vote. Do you not think that people said terrible things about America in November? And guess what? We went out and voted. The left said a lot of terrible things about Trump. Said a lot of terrible things about his supporters. We didn't have a problem. We went out and did our duty. Now, again, I don't know what your turnout was. I haven't looked into this deeply. I've got a lot to say about it on the radio show tomorrow. So come on and join me at 2 to 3. And get mad again. Now, again, I want to say this, folks. I got some dear people in this chat. I got some dear people that support us on this network. I love you all. This is not directed at you. This is not directed at anybody, but it is directed at the general rule of thumb that I'm seeing out there on the internet tonight, that we're getting blamed for this. Trump's getting blamed for this. Trump didn't have a 30-point lead with 6 weeks to go and blow an election. Sure didn't. So I'm just saying. Now, I know it's a little rough. That's a little rough. But I'm saying it in love. Yep. Good evening to everybody out here. It's good to see everybody. Jennifer's in the house. Carol Smith, Cedric, Mimi, Holly, Spirit, Alpha Globa. Vijay is up with us tonight. Thank you, Jennifer. Trump was not on the Canadian ballot. Trump was not on the Canadian ballot. I want to say that's an excellent point. He was not on the ballot tonight. You wasn't voting for Trump. You were voting between Carney and Pierre Poilievre. And again, folks, I don't care. Look, you think your problems are up there and your gas prices and groceries are high. Ours are high down here too. But, there's a group of us in America that's basically sucked it up. And we're giving President Trump. Today is his 100th day. Yesterday was his 100th day in office out of a 4-year term. Not even 10% of his term's gone. And you got people out there on our side, even down here, same kind of cackling, same kind of cattiness, same kind of ignorant thinking that Trump can wave a magic wand in 100 days and fix every single problem that he inherited. He can't. He can't. Can't fix the justice mess. He can't fix the border mess totally. He's trying. He's trying. Better than what Biden was doing. Can't fix your little grocery problem just yet. He's working on it. He's only been in office 100 days. We can't put everybody in jail overnight. We can't fix the prescription stuff. I have to tell you, the two most... I'll say this about his cabinet. And I know there's some disagreement, and that's fine. But the two people that I'm most impressed with so far in the first 100 days is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tom Homan. I don't agree with a thing Robert F. Kennedy believes socially. And I probably would never vote for him if he ran for president. But you know what I've respected about him? They hired him to do a job to run the health of this country. He's the Department of Health and Human Services Director of America. He's doing a great job trying to get our food and get this dangerous chemical stuff and get these dyes and get these horrible things that are killing people out of our foods. And he's working with the FDA. He's working with Congress. He's working with everything he can to help get the food. That's what he was appointed to do, and that's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing. I don't look at Robert F. Kennedy and try to figure out what his belief system is and say he's evil trying to save us tonight because I don't believe in some of his theology. Fact of the matter is I don't believe in his theology. But I salute the man, and I appreciate the man, and I appreciate his wife for enduring the crap she's had to endure from Hollywood and those types because her husband did the right thing for America. And Tom Homan, there's not too many people in government that I have as much respect for tonight as I do Tom Homan. I wish we had 1 million of him. I wish we had 1 million with his guts, his ability to speak truth, not being intimidated by this feckless, false media. These people in the media, folks, are nothing but political whores. That's all they are. They sell their soul to the bidding of the left and the bidding of the Democrat Party. They go into that White House briefing room with questions handed to them, with bait questions to get the Trump administration to say all sorts of things and get them to have a headline that they can go back and sell a paper or two. And of all the people in Trump's cabinet that knows how to handle that the best, Stephen Miller, but he's part of Trump's inner chief of staff. But Tom Homan in his cabinet, if you're listening to me, Mr. Homan, I wish you'd come on my show. I'd really love to have you. But I know you can't because you've got a high-level government job. But We'd love to have you on the Mac Files one of these days before we stop doing this. But he has been the most consistent, and he's doing his job. And I respect that. Now, he's being labeled Hitler and Nazi and fascist and everything else like Trump is. And, but those are our problems down here. Our problems down here, Canada, are our problems. We got the same issues you do. But you know what I don't do? I don't get on this show and blame Canada for it. And neither does President Trump. President Trump is trying to fix it. President Trump is trying to fix it. And that's what we elected him to do. Is he getting it done at the pace most people think he is? You've got Christians literally holding up a sheet of paper with the price of eggs from January to April, and because they've not come down to the percentage that Trump predicted he could do it, they're claiming that Trump's lied about the economy. Christians. That's how idiotic and insane this stuff gets out there. And as I was driving home tonight, and I was beginning to sort of see some of the stuff trickling in about the election, I was thinking, Lord, how can I do this tonight? It's going to be a late show, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing Canada, because I want to tell the Canadians tonight, I feel for you. Look, I know what's coming, and it ain't good for your nation. It ain't. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. And it's not Trump's fault. And any president, folks, worth his salt, would have done the same thing with these tariffs as Trump's doing tonight. The only president that wouldn't do it is somebody that don't care about his country. Because I will tell you this right now, we are, the days of people taking advantage of us with these tariffs is over. People don't have to like it. They don't have to lump it. They don't have to accept it. And they can think it's too mean-spirited. And it's just one of these things. I don't understand the tariffs. I don't understand why he's doing these tariffs. I tell you why, neighbor. Do you realize tonight that there's a possibility that if these tariffs work, which they're going to work, I tell you what's going to happen. These countries are either going to come to the table and work out an equitable trade agreement with our nation, or they can suffer the consequences. That's how it is. And you see, because America does that, we're looked on as a bully. Well, no, the bully and the one that's evil to me is the manipulator on the other side that manipulates and bullies America into making an unfair trade deal with America getting screwed all the time. And nothing's ever said about that. So when America just simply says, hey, that ball game's over, and we just come to the table and we're going to make things equitable, then all of a sudden American Trump becomes a bully. No, he's not a bully. There's a new sheriff in town. And I want to beat it. I'm not going to beat this dead horse to death. I'm going to go on from this because I got a few videos. I'm going to take your questions. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired. But I want to come on tonight. I promised South Dakota folks. They asked me before I left yesterday, you can be on tomorrow night? I said, I will be on tomorrow night. I just quite didn't make it Monday night. It was early Tuesday morning. Actually, I take that back. South Dakota time, it's actually 1:45 midnight. So actually, I did make it tonight. And Canadians, I love you. I love you. But you need to stop blaming America for your problems. It ain't our fault. And this, I saw one post that somebody said, well, we're never going to forgive Trump supporters. Well, don't forgive us. If you want to blame us, blame us. Blame us. Your country has been in a teetotal oblivion mess long before Trump showed up in that White House in January. Long before Trump was even thought about. The problems with Canada and all of these nations, folks, go back long before Trump. And I'll amen myself.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. All righty. Now, let's see a couple of things. Let me redo browser here because I've got to get some of these videos up, and we're going to sort by the date modified. We're going to group by the date modified, and we're going to view these icons so we can see what we're putting up here so we don't put up something we by mistake. By the way, we're going to talk about this tomorrow night more in detail. I don't have a lot of time tonight. Did you hear about this today? And this is why people get upset with Trump, and they shouldn't. This is exactly what I'd have done too. The media keeps complaining about these illegals being deported, that we're deporting Maryland men and Mississippi men, people that rape, kill, murder, maim, and assault, and all this other stuff. Well, Trump figured that best thing to remind the press about is when this is the road, this is the sidewalk outside the White House, and this is exactly where the press gathers when they do their outdoor press conferences. Well, those signs right there, those are all illegal aliens. And those are the crimes that they have been arrested for. And some of them deported for. So Trump's figuring, well, if you're going to sit here and lie about the illegal alien situation and tell these American people that these are just a bunch of family guys, a bunch of Ward Cleavers, and, you know, that's got Wally and Beaver at the house and June at the house cooking cornbread and milk every night, we'll just give you the truth. And there's a truth pill. But again, what's being said tonight? Trump's a bully. Trump's intimidating the press. Trump is lying to the American people. Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a website. You can go get those names and research those names. I'm sure there's a database in this country that will verify every one of those names and show you what their crime is. Folks, death, a lot of these people, look at that one in the middle, murder. Let me just explain this to you, folks, in a very common sense way and calm way tonight. Murder kills people. These people have killed people. They've raped people. They've done sexual assault of a child, the guy beside him there. Sexual assault of a child, 2 of them, rape on the end down there. Child molestation, multiple sex offenders. All of these are illegals here in the country. I'm not saying they're the only ones doing it, but I'm going to tell you this. A majority of the crime that we've had over the last 36 to 48 months has been by these people. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought. This is Trump, the troll. I got so much to play tonight. I'm not going to keep you long. We're going to wrap this up. You got to listen to this. This is awesome. This is President Trump.
I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN. Right. And if you did it well, your ratings would be much...
By the way, I got to stop that. Canada, Trump's running this country. He ain't running your country. Hell may freeze over before Canada becomes our 51st state. To be frank with you, I don't think most Americans want Canada to be our 51st state neighbor. If Trump wants to pursue that, that's his business. But it ultimately, what does it matter? I don't think most Americans even want that. I'm not even sure if Trump's trolling or if he's just being funny. But get a life. We don't want you as our 51st state. We love you all. We respect you. But we don't want you as our 51st state. He's the president. He says, let me run the country here. This is Jim Acosta from about 3 or 4 years ago. This is the top 6 trolls. I'm going to start that back. It's wise. It's wisdom tonight by President Trump. Roll the tape.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN. Right. And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question. Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
that's enough.
Ask one of the other
that's enough, Jim.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I have one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have...
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russia investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried
That's
about...
That's how rude the press has been.
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead. What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
It's just awfully good.
My favorite.
With the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
You'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
this is a tough business to run for president.
You're a tough guy, Jeff.
And we need to have a leader that is progressive. You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the
Let's see, I'm
presidency.
at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't
far
matter.
I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeff. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
Don't
This
lose your
doesn't
temper.
do a
Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." Let's say I'm running against Pocahontas or Crazy Bernie. I tell you, I gotta hand it to Bernie. I saw him up there the other day. That hair is getting whiter and whiter, and he's getting crazier and crazier. And I saw him. We'll stop Donald Trump. We're stopping him. We're gonna stop him. And I looked at my wife. I said, you know what? You gotta hand it to that guy, man. That guy, he doesn't quit, and that's okay. Crazy Bernie. He is one crazy dude.
One of the things people love about
My second favorite
you
one.
is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You call women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Megyn Kelly didn't like that too much. That was Don Jr. putting those together for us tonight. 6 of the all-time Trump trolls. Folks, take a breath and please relax about Trump. I've never seen a leader that has polarized so many people that just don't get it. And you say, well, he's rude and he's crude and he's obnoxious and that was insulting. Well, okay. But he's trying to save a country. And I'm not saying that all of that was probably in the best taste, but you know something? Considering what we've had to put up with this crap in the last 4 years, I don't think there's much anything Trump could say or do that would go to the level of the crap hole that we were in for 4 years. And the level of debauchery, and the level of perversion, and the level of darkness. And let me tell you this. You don't have to like him, his personality, but I challenge you, you tell me something he's done that's hurt this country in the first 100 days. And I'm waiting. Because I have to tell you, the media is trying their best to tell the country that the country hates him. He's got 80% right now. Do you realize that his approval rating on this border issue is approaching 80%? Folks, we can't get 8 out of 10 Americans to agree what color the water is in the Atlantic Ocean. We can't get 5 people to agree on something. We can't get 3 people to agree on something nowadays. We got 80% of the population saying, hey, Trump's deporting the illegals. Yes. You know, I see this on the Twitter a lot. This is what I voted for. Folks, this is what I voted for. I'm okay with it. Because, again, Chris doesn't have a sensitivity factor about that thin in my skin tonight. Because I'm more concerned about what he's doing for the country. And I'm tired of these hacks in the media. And I'm tired of this mess that I see tonight, these lies and these half-truths and these innuendos and all of this stuff that goes on. And it even infuriates me more to watch Christians do it. Share this stuff out that is vile and false. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. I like the Rosie O'Donnell comment. I remember the night he did that. Megyn Kelly wasn't too happy with it then. She loves Trump now, somewhat. She's not a big fan of some of his cabinet picks, but she loves Trump. It's amazing how she came to Jesus after 4 years of Joe Biden. It's amazing how a lot of people came to Jesus after 4 years of Joe Biden and this Democrat hellhole woke party.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Thing about Hillary was always good. We always used to play that when we came in, and they would kick us with a
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Yep, it's elementary. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All righty. One more, too, and then I'm going to take your questions tonight and get out of here before I tick off the whole world. By the way, this is, I think this is a video. No, this is the JPEG. I want you to listen to this. I've got this on a story here. The media is not happy with Trump about these images. I want you to listen to you can hear the audio. We're going to play this on the radio. This is the audio. This is MSNBC this morning freaking out about these signs with all the, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll play it off the Newswire line because I think I've got it queued up here. By the way, that's Brandon Johnson from the Chicago wearing a and there's the story. We've got these in our Telegram room. There's Poilievre. Lost a 30-point lead 3 months after he started bashing Trump. All right, I can't find the story, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to come back on my screen, and I'm going to play this audio clip. This is MSNBC this morning. They wasn't too happy when they woke up, and they saw those signs. Roll the tape.
You've heard how hard
not that one. That's the ad. Hang on. That's Don Jr.
Like ivermectin,
trying to sell you something. Hang on.
Big retailers
one more. Hang on.
have this Zoom
5 seconds.
But there's nothing they can do to stop it. So there's the
Maria Teresa Kumar. Before we let you go, we want to get your reaction to something that just occurred. The White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes.
100 of them.
You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront.
That's the lady talking.
Mansion itself to the left.
In a minute.
But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image.
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abreu Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out. The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of...
I got to stop her right there. This is the liberal twit that's doing this. It's the news media's job just to report the facts. You're saying that on the MSNBC network with Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid and Chris Hayes and Lawrence O'Donnell? Seriously? Now, you're not seeing her lips move there. That's the most craziest thing in this late night. Even at 1 o'clock in the morning, that's about the most insane thing I've heard on a 16-hour trip today home. It's the media. It is. She's right. But saying it with a straight face like that's what they're doing? And folks, let me tell you something. You don't think that Trump didn't think this out. And don't think the White House didn't think this out. They can't put somebody's name out there just to put it out there if they've not been charged with these crimes. They could get sued. So let them blur it out. The damage has been done. Because I will tell you, not every network, and the people that watch MSNBC wouldn't care about these illegals anyway, but the people that do care, they're not going to be blurred out. And again, this is rich coming from this piece of crap network, and this is why we have lost total faith in the media. Roll the tape.
An earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they had placed gang signs on him, gang signs, tattoos on him. That is absolutely a lie. She is absolutely lying. And she's calling these people innocent people, and they're not innocent, folks. They're killers and rapists and child molesters. We are absolutely under attack. Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news, and making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger, and having that representation of those pictures in the background we can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people. So I would encourage.
All right, did you hear that? I've got the quote. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'll go ahead and put this up because it probably would be a greater effect to see her actually saying this crap. I am telling you, we got so much to talk about this week, and I don't have time to do it tonight. But this is the and the headline in the Gateway Pundit is accurate. They're defending rapists, murderers, drug dealing, illegal aliens, showcased on the White House lawn, urges reporters to blur the mugshots. Corey, I saw you comment, and you're absolutely right. That's what they're telling people to do. I can't stand but there's about 10 more seconds of this. Roll the tape.
Recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred to the best of your abilities.
Blurred to the best of your ability, and then the media, and then the jackanapes. This is the other jackanapes. Let me see. We got an ad. Let's skip this ad. Hang on. I want to show you the reporter because he's about as dumb as her. Hang on. Just a second. All right, Laura. Okay.
Remember, they're not just
we're not here to get an ad. There we go. There he is right here. There's the MSNBC reporter.
Your reaction, something that just occurred.
But anyway, suffice it to say, MSNBC wasn't too happy about this. And I'm sure CNN wasn't too happy. And I'm sure a lot of folks weren't too happy. Now, one more video, and then I got to take your questions and get some rest tonight because I am worn out. But I'm wired up. And let me get my glasses here so I can make sure I'm posting what I want to post here. Tom Holman today, speaking of Holman, and we haven't even talked about this lovely lady. We're going to deal with her this week. I know a lot of you, it happened Friday. We wasn't on Friday because we was in South Dakota, but this Wisconsin judge got busted for helping an illegal migrant accused of punching a victim 30 times. She let him out of her courtroom. And I don't know if it's just me, but does she not look like the woman from the Throw Your Mama from the Train movie? I'm just asking for a friend, okay? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just saying. If I got to be nice tonight. I got to be nice, but okay, I'm not going to be nice. I'm not going to be nice.
For years, Hillary Rodham Clinton has told people that she was named for the first man to climb Mount Everest, Sir Edmund Hillary. But as Esquire magazine recently pointed out, Sir Edmund did not climb Mount Everest until 1953, 6 years after Hillary was born. However, the First Lady does have a good explanation for the discrepancy. She loves to lie. No more indictments are likely in the Whitewater investigation. President Clinton
this was from the 90s.
Refusing to say whether he will pardon former Whitewater associates Jim and Susan McDougal. But when asked if he would pardon First Lady Hillary Clinton, the president was crystal clear. Quote, "She does the crime, she does the time."
By the way, Salty Mary, you mentioned process. I'm glad you said that. I forgot to say the most important thing about this show tonight. If you come into our country, and I don't care where you're coming from, without a process of citizenship, let me remind you that the entire U.S. Constitution was written for Americans only. You're not going to get a process getting your backside carcass kicked out. Tom Holman had the greatest response today because, as many of you know, there are people that have come into our country illegally. They've stayed here illegally for decades without any attempt to become citizens, and they've had kids. And now when Trump and Holman is deporting them, he's deporting the whole family, including the kids that were born here. And this smart aleck reporter tried to corner him on this morning at this press conference. You got to listen to Tom Holman. This is what I'm saying. Tom Holman's my hero. He is my hero. Roll the tape.
If you enter this country legally, it's a crime. If you remain in this country illegally and you ignore a judge's order about deporting, if you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration separating families again. No, we're keeping families together. So when a parent says, I want my 2-year-old baby to go with me, we made that happen. They weren't deported. We don't deport U.S. citizens. The parents made that decision, not the United States government. But I don't hear any questions about Lake and Rowdy had a mother.
Amen.
She's never going to see her child again.
That's right.
Rachel Morin.
That's right.
Children.
Come on, Tom.
You know, those children are never going to see their mom again.
Come on.
This administration is doing the right thing.
They are doing the right thing. Thank you, Tom, very much. Let me turn my volume down a little bit here so I don't blow you out. Let me say that loudly again. Rachel Morin, Riley Gaines, and other illegal angel moms and dads and brothers and sisters, they ain't going to see their kids anymore, or their grandkids, or their mamas, or their daddies. And this Maryland man, who's nothing but a gangbanger, thug, child trafficker. He was caught in my state, by the way. By the way, we got an illegal under arrest here in Tennessee for impregnating a 9-year-old last week. I guess this reporter would be concerned if he had a family here. I guess we'd break his family up. No, Tom Holman told the CBS reporter this last year because they were trying to corner him about this. And I'm not so sure it ain't this same imbecile right here. And I hate to be using terms like imbecile, moron, and stupid tonight. I shouldn't be saying it, but it is late. And I said, give me a little grace. I've been a little wired up and tired coming home. But, folks, this stuff burns me up. And they asked Tom Holman and said, well, what do you say about the charge y'all going to separate families? And Tom Holman said, no, we're not going to separate families. We'll just deport the whole family if they're here illegally. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Where's my, I love my thing is back tonight.
My dear Watson.
I don't know if Jenny Castellanova's still out there tonight, but she likes that one, you know. That's perfect. But let me tell you something, folks. You know what he's telling this reporter? That a lot of these mothers and a lot of these fathers are saying, we don't want to leave without our kids. Okay, we'll take your kid and go. Good. We're good. But the media is trying to make a big deal of that. And I love what he said. He said, guess what? If I didn't do that, y'all would tell me I'm separating families. But this is the thing. And after this, I'm going to get to you. You come here illegally, and you do this stuff, and you have a baby here, you're the one putting your baby in jeopardy, not the United States government, and not Trump. You're the one that put that child in this place. But see, this is the thing that gets lost in the shuffle. Just like this twit gets lost in the shuffle with this. The people that these illegals have killed, they'll never see their loved ones again and their babies and their grandbabies. And this is why, folks, this is what I voted for. And I have the utmost respect for that man right there. And you better be praying for his safety, to be frank with you. You better be praying for his safety. By the way, you remember Christy Nome the other night? Got her purse stole? They basically reported there's 2 illegals that were behind that. And if the plot don't get any thicker than this, the crash of the helicopter, we had it on the radio show this afternoon, the pilot that crashed the helicopter into the plane about a week after President Trump took office, he got blamed for that too, by some. Well, come to find out that the male co-pilot warned her not to keep flying. He told her to stop what she was doing. And the report is out tonight that she basically ignored his order directly and flew that helicopter right in that airplane almost in a deliberate act. That is going to be a bombshell if that is proven. And he's given his testimony to officials already with the NTSB. And it's a story we're going to be following this week. And I got a lot more to say, but it is late. But we're going to play that clip again by Tom Holman, because that's some common sense. This is what I voted for. I'm curious about you tonight. Is this what you voted for? If it is, I want you to put some fire in that house. All righty. I saw Cedric Gibbons in there. And Mark, you asked me, Mike Alter, you asked me about Rand Paul. Well, Rand Paul can rant all he wants to. I disagree with Rand Paul. He's my neighbor to the north. So what is up with him? I don't know. You might have to ask him that, Mike. I don't know what's wrong with man. But see, the thing is, it's crazy because his daddy was always about getting government waste out of the picture, and that's what Doge is doing. President Trump said today, if these tariffs work, we're not even going to have an income tax in our... He said it will be an external IRS. It won't even be an internal. And he was basically trolling the IRS and saying, we ain't going to need you. I'm just curious how many people would like that idea. Trump would get blamed for something about that, too. Trump would get blamed for that, too, for dismantling the IRS. Common sense, Joan. Common sense. Common sense. It sure is. It sure is. Good to see old Keith Walker late tonight to the house. Misty McLeod's in the house. Janice Myers is in the house. Due process is for the American citizen, Salty. It is. And let me just say this. All these people crying about due process. I want to say it again. None of these illegals came in here with a process. They didn't stand in line and go through any process to come into our country. So let me give them a little news flash from Papa Chris and Granddaddy Chris and Papa Bear McDonald here in these hills. Your sorry carcass does not deserve due process going out. That's how this works. You don't respect our process coming in. We're not going to respect your process going out.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Let me play that one more time.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Anyway, Misty says even my dad loves the idea of no taxes. He hates Trump. Misty, that's funny. It's good to see you tonight, friend. Folks, and again, there's a lot of Trump haters out there. And there's a lot of people hate Trump. But they can't argue with what the direction the country's going in. Folks, if you can sit in good conscience and tell me that this mass migration has been good for America and this illegal immigration is good for America and us being in an unfair trade balance with these nations has been good for us, I'm sorry. That's just not kosher with me. It's not right. I'm not here to argue with you, but that's just irrational thinking. And thank you, Joan. Common sense would tell us, folks, our nation can't keep going down this hill. Do you realize that they arrested 800 illegal aliens over the weekend in Florida? In Florida. Another 300 or 400 in Colorado again. And other states of the union. They had a mass raid this weekend. Cleaning house. Cleaning house. I was shocked at that number in Florida because DeSantis has been a great governor. Look, I know a lot of people don't like Ron DeSantis. I like Ron DeSantis. My son lives in Florida and I got family that lives down there. He's done a great job. Like any other governor, is he perfect? No, of course not. Like any other president, is Trump perfect? No. Eve says, I think the comment of the night, all these people that are hating on Trump, I would love to see what they'd be doing tonight with Kamala Harris in power. I would love to see their catty, dumb blank attitude that they've got toward Trump tonight if she was in power doing the things that I know in my heart she'd be doing. And this dumb blank, idiotic, moronic, imbecilic thinking that we have, folks, we have got to shake ourselves from this mess. And I hate to sound so catty tonight again. I hate to be a little irritated and fidgety, but goodness gracious, it's just like the Canadians blaming us for their election loss tonight. What did we do? We didn't vote in your election. We had nothing to do with your election. You voted. You voted. Or didn't vote. And I would be curious how many people didn't show up to the polls in Canada. Was it stolen? I don't know. But, we proved in November, you get enough people out to vote, they can't steal it if you got enough people to override the steal. Just a thought. Just a thought. But anyway, love you guys too, Misty. We thank you for being with us tonight. I really do. Any questions, any comments? Shelby says, I used to love visiting Canada, but I won't be visiting and giving them any of my money. And there's some folks that feel that way. I'm not going to tell people not to do that, but I don't like the way they're calling. I don't like what they're doing. I just don't. And Angela, you know, I love everybody that comes here legally too, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Right now, Angela, the way our country, the state we're in right now, Holman said today that he is not sure. He said that he still thinks, even now, after all they've done this first 100 days, we still got close to 20 million, that he feels like we had at least 20 million illegals here in the nation, and they are working on the figures. But it's in the tens of millions that we still got to find. And that's the other thing. We can't find them. Thanks to Joe Blanking Biden. And blanking means blessing. Okay? Joe Blessed Biden. Just saying. I just don't want there to be any Joe Blessing Biden. I'm going to say that. Joe Blessed Biden. How about that? Okay? Joe Blessed Biden. Joe Blessed Biden. That should be funny. Corey Aguilar, your comment, I just lost it. Let me go over here and see if I can find you here. Your comment was a good one. She says, didn't they say if they provided due process for these illegals, it would take like 38 years? Corey, it would take longer than that. It would take a half century. It would take almost 100 years. If you give due process, and this process takes years. But my point is, they didn't obey the process when they came in. They didn't obey the process. And folks, you know, people may not like Trump doing that with the posters. I'm okay with it. I'm more than okay with it. It's about time. You know, I look at this in many ways, and I got to close tonight. If you got questions, put them in there. You got 5 minutes. I look at this in many ways as I do the abortion situation. I got a dear friend here in Knoxville. We're right at an hour. He built a van, and he put images of aborted fetuses on it, and they were bloody images. City of Knoxville sued him, told him it was too graphic to drive around the campus of UT, so he couldn't do it. It was truth. He was trying to show these kids, this is what happens when you get an abortion. They wouldn't let him do it, because the truth would have probably made some of these girls and boys realize that abortion was a brutal, murderous act on a baby. And I look at what Trump is doing with these illegals and putting down there they've raped kids and they've molested kids and they've raped and they've murdered and they've killed and they've stolen and they've assaulted. And again, folks, I'm not telling you tonight that all crime in America is by illegals. There's a lot of legal crime. By the way, I want to announce we're going to bring McJustice back this month in May. We're going to try to do it once a month, and all we're going to do, it's going to be a little different format than we did before, but what we're going to do is we're going to play videos of the lawlessness of this country. And if there's a legal story or a legal headline or two, we'll talk about that with you. We may try to do it on a Friday night. That's probably a good night to do it. But our country, folks, has gone lawless. We've just gone lawless. But let me tell you something. The only people that are upset about the illegals being called out for their crimes are people that don't care about this country. And you know something? They're okay with illegals killing them. You saw the headline from Gateway Pundit. They were defending rapists, folks. They were defending these people. This girl said they're innocent. They're potentially innocent. Are you joking me? Are you seriously kidding me? What did he just say? Oh, there's my thing right there. I thought he was. There's my other one. I hadn't done this one all night. What did he say? What did he say? What did she say? Seriously? Seriously? Anyway. Jan, I like Ron DeSantis too. Brooksville, I know where that's at, Jan. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight. Angela, I don't think we can afford anybody right now, legally or illegally. Look, I don't think Trump is trying to stop immigration. And that's the other thing, folks. We need to get this in our heads. These people that the media is fawning over and the Democrats are visiting and are defending. Trump got impeached today, or not impeached, but the articles were put on the floor by an Indian-born congressional member of Congress that really has no right being in office. But thanks to stupid people in California or Michigan, they voted him in. And I would dare say, the truth be told, he's probably not even here legally. But that's another issue for another time. We need to get this in our minds tonight. Immigrants. These people are not immigrants. They've never been immigrants. They are illegals and they're aliens. Now, I get asked all the time, well, what would Jesus do, Chris? Let me tell you what Jesus would do. Jesus would tell them to obey the law. And if they did not do this, they would be removed from his presence. Now, I know that some of you don't believe that. And I know some of you think that's harsh. I can guarantee you this tonight, folks, and I'm not saying this in a smug, self-righteous way, but I'm saying this to you to understand what's a coming in the future. Because the day's going to come when Jesus will be in charge of this planet and this earth. There ain't going to be any illegal immigration in the kingdom age. There ain't going to be any of this mess. And he will have the power and the might and the wisdom on how to deal with this. But I will tell you one thing he's not going to allow. There ain't going to be any mass migration into the kingdom when Israel takes over this earth and Israel is restored. That stuff's going to stop. What would Jesus do? He would tell these illegals, I love you. I died for you. And can I tell you this? If they accepted Christ, then the Spirit of God in them would tell them to go get legal or go back home to their country. You see, what's frustrating me is we've got illegals that have stayed in this country for 30 years. They've never been deported, but they've never got citizenship either. They just stay here and they don't go through the process. They don't think it's important. It is important. Because everyone that came in here and waited in that line for 5 years, 6 years, 4 years to get their citizenship, and they had to go through all those courses and all those things, it's an insult to them too. I got the videos downloaded, and I'm going to try to play one or two of them of that border trip that I made back in 21. A memorable year for too many wrong reasons. But we may play that video because it's some good stuff, and it's a reminder of what's going on down there. It was going on back then in 21 to show you how far we've come tonight. All righty. All righty. I'm done. Put some fire in that house. Chow Muffin thought that was pretty good. Thank you, Super Sydney. Welcome back. I am glad to be home. I am glad to be home. It's been a long trip. I want to thank Amy Miller tonight, and I want to thank all the folks in South Dakota that came out to see us. We had a really good crowd, and it was good. It was good. Good. John says, I like that. What did you say? John, just for you, dear.
What did he say?
People ask that question all the time on the back files. What did he just say? And some people don't like what Chris says sometimes.
What
That's
did he
all right.
say?
I just want to take it in stride. By the way, I need to remind some folks out there that are listening, this is an opinion show. And if you think Chris is being mean because I express my opinion, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is the Back Files. And I'm saying this in all due respect and love, folks. This is an opinion show, and I'm on the radio 2 to 3 expressing my opinions. And I say it to you every night. These opinions are mine. You don't have to agree with them, but these opinions are mine. And I think I've paid the price for 7.5 years to express them. The Lord's blessed us, and we've maintained an audience, and as long as we got an audience out there wanting to listen to this old crazy Southerner, I'm going to be right here expressing my opinion. And if that's mean-spirited to some, then so be it. It's okay. I don't even get upset about it no more. I think the last few years has done a wonder to McDonald. I've just learned to chill and laugh. I laugh at it. I just laugh at it. And we had a situation in here last week that was very ugly, and I don't want to get into it tonight. And they went, well, I'm not going to say that. Forget that. I'll just leave it at that. But these opinions are mine. You got a problem or you want to comment, McFilesforum@gmail.com, and you can rant to your heart's content. And it's fine. And again, folks, I don't have to agree with your opinion no more than you agree with mine. It doesn't make us enemies. We just disagree. And you can either act like an adult with me and hang out with us here, or act like a petulant child. And that's all right, because a lot of people do that too. A lot of people do that too, but that's all right.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson. All right. Did you enjoy the show tonight? Did you enjoy the show tonight? Jan says this one. Okay, Jan, just for you, one more time.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
All righty. Just for you, Jan. Just for you. Teresa, I am still up. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you, Teresa. You're coming in at the end. But yeah, I just got back in from South Dakota about an hour ago. Carol says, would these supporting illegals feel the same if their family members were harmed? Of course not, Carol. Of course not. No, that's the hypocrisy of it all. If these daughters and sons and brothers and sisters were members of the press and members of their own family, they would be playing a different tune than they are. And the Democrats would be playing. These idiots that went down there to El Salvador to try to get this thug trafficker back, I wonder what would have happened if he would have been trafficking their daughter. Now, we ain't got to the good stuff this week. This is just a warm-up. Now, if this is the warm-up, can you imagine what's coming this week? Woo-wee! Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh. I'm having a blast. I am having such a good time. I'm so wired up, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to sleep now. I've been driving almost 16 hours over the last 24, 40, 32 hours. So it's been a long journey, but it's been worth it. And I could not let the night go by without coming on and running my mouth. I'm just saying.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Anyway, I hope you had a good time. Please, folks, chill out there that are all been out of shape about Trump. And I want to remind the Canadians tonight, I love you. We're not down here bloating and boasting about your loss, folks. It's serious. It's dangerous. And I tell you this, that election's going to affect us here in America, because there ain't going to be any kumbaya reconciliation. I had hope that Pierre Boulevard would at least sit down with Trump at the table and negotiate and say, okay, I'm on your side. I'm not on your side, but I understand what you're trying to do, but let's work out a deal for both nations. That's all Trump wanted. That's all he wants. I don't think that's going to happen now. In Canada, don't blame us for that. Blame your people, your government, not ours. Just saying. I love you. We're sad that things went the way they did tonight, but don't blame us for it, because we're not at fault. And Trump ain't either. Can't say that enough. All righty. Hope you had a good night tonight, everybody. I know some of you told me you like this song. I'm going to go out with it tonight. I hope you have a good night, and I hope you get some rest. And I will see you back here in the morning, and then I will be back here tomorrow night. We got Michael Jaffe. Let me come back over here and say this about Michael Jaffe. Michael Jaffe has wrote a book, To Israel. He's going to be from Jerusalem tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. He's going to talk about the situation with Hamas, these protests, what Israel's facing right now. You do not want to miss this interview. Now, as of right now, Dr. Smith, Stephen Smith, will be with me at 8. He'll only be on for a short time, but we're going to talk to him about the health situation and what he thinks about RFK Jr.'s efforts about this autism thing, because RFK is trying to help parents with autism get to the bottom of what's been causing it. He believes it's these vaccines. And him and Dr. Smith have very similar views, and that's why I'm bringing him on. And we're going to talk about it. at least for a little bit tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and then Chris may run his mouth again tomorrow night. But if I put it like this, if 16 hours don't take the starch out of me, there ain't no hope. There just ain't no hope. And that's why I love what I do. I don't work a day in my life. I'm grateful that you're here with us tonight, and we hope that you have a wonderful night being with the Mac Files, and may the Lord bless you. And I'm trying to get this to play. Why does it not want to play? Let's see here. This computer always does this to me. Let's refresh it. Let's see if this will make it play. Oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Have a good night, everybody. Sleep tight. See you tomorrow. It's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. It makes me tend to leave my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch. It's knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten words and laws and the ink stains that have dried upon some line. That keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory. That keeps you ever gentle on my mind. It's not clinging to the rocks and ivy painted on their columns now that bind me. Or something that somebody said because they thought we fit together walking. It's not knowing that the world will not be cursing or forgiving when I walk around the railroad track and find that you're moving on the back roads by the rivers of my memory, and hours you're just gentle on my mind. Though the wheat fields and the clotheslines and the junkyards and the highways come between us, and some other woman's crying to her mother 'cause she turned and I was gone, I still might run in silence, tears of joy might stain my face, and the summer sun might burn me till I'm blind. But not to where I cannot see you walking on the back roads by the rivers flowing gentle on my mind. I dip